The outpost at the edge of human space was usually quiet. Commander Elias Ward had spent the last 3 months listening to the hum of machines, the soft rhythm of the life support systems, and the silence of space pressing against the station walls. His duties were simple: monitor signals, scan for passing ships, and report anything unusual back to Earth Command. Most nights nothing happened. The stars outside never changed. The same constellations greeted him through the observation windows, the same empty corridors echoed with his footsteps. Elias often thought of his home on Earth, where noise and life filled every corner. Here there was only stillness. That night, Elias sat in the control room, reviewing routine scans. His eyes were half-focused when the door at the far end of the corridor hissed open. At first he thought it was one of the technicians returning from a maintenance check, but when he turned, he froze. A figure stepped through the doorway slowly. The movement was deliberate, almost cautious, like someone testing the air. The figure was tall and wrapped in a strange suit that shimmered under the outpost lights. The material looked too smooth to be fabric, almost like liquid metal flowing across the body. Elias rose from his chair, his hand instinctively moving toward the sidearm at his belt. "Identify yourself," he called out, his voice firm but steady. The figure did not answer. Instead, it kept walking, each step quiet, careful, as though it had rehearsed the act of entering a human station many times. Elias's heart began to beat faster. No one had entered without clearance before. The outpost's docking systems would have alerted him. Yet somehow, this stranger was here. Then, in one slow motion, the figure reached for its shoulder. With a soft pull, the strange suit began to peel away. Not clothes, not armor, a disguise. The metallic surface slid down in ripples, revealing something else beneath. Elias expected another human, maybe a spy or a stowaway. But what he saw made his breath catch. Beneath the disguise was not human skin. It was something different. Smooth, lavender-colored flesh, marked with faint glowing lines that pulsed like veins of light. The eyes, larger than human, carried a glow that shifted between blue and silver. Her hair, if it could be called hair, flowed like strands of dark crystal, an alien. The disguise slid completely to the floor, vanishing into a pile of dull plates that no longer shimmered. The figure, now revealed as a woman or at least female in form, stood in silence for a moment. Then, softly, almost like a breath carried on the wind, she whispered his name. Elias. The sound of it struck him harder than any weapon. His hand tightened around his sidearm, but he did not raise it. His thoughts spun wildly. How did she know his name? Humanity had only just stepped into the wider galaxy. Their presence beyond Earth was hidden, limited to secret colonies and distant stations. No alien should even know they existed, let alone recognize one human commander. "Who are you?" Elias demanded. His voice came out sharper than he intended. "How do you know me?" The alien woman tilted her head slightly, her glowing eyes locking onto his. For a moment she said nothing, only studying him, as if she had finally found something she had searched for a very long time. "I came far," she said at last. Her voice was calm, clear, with an echo that made the words feel heavy. "I came through danger, and I came for you, Elias Ward." The way she said his name again sent a chill down his spine. He tried to keep his breathing steady, tried not to show the storm of questions tearing through his mind. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice low. "This station is restricted. How did you get in? Who sent you?" She took one slow step forward. Elias's grip on his weapon tightened, but he still didn't raise it. Something about her presence held him frozen. Not fear, exactly. Not even threat. But something deeper. "I will tell you everything," she said softly. "But you must trust me. Time is short. They will follow me soon." "They?" Elias asked. The alien nodded. "The Dominion. They already know of your kind. And they will not allow your people to grow, The word, dominion, meant nothing to Elias. But the way she said it with sharp weight in her tone made his instincts flare. Whoever they were dangerous. Elias stepped forward slightly, though he kept his weapon at his side. You know my name. You know where I am. That means you've been watching us, spying on humans. Her expression shifted, not with guilt, but with something closer to sorrow. I had no choice, she said. I studied you from far away. I learned your names, your battles, your struggles, and I learned yours, Elias Ward, because you were different. The silence of the outpost pressed heavier now. Elias could hear his own heartbeat. He could see the faint shimmer of her glowing lines as she stood there waiting for him to speak. Different. The word echoed in his mind. He wanted to demand more answers. He wanted to raise his weapon, call security, and lock her in a cell until Earth Command decided what to do. That was protocol. That was duty. But something in her voice, in the way she whispered his name, made him hesitate. You came all this way, Elias said slowly. Just to find me. Her eyes glowed brighter, almost like a star reflected in deep water. Yes, she whispered, because if I do not, your world will burn. The control room felt colder suddenly. Elias's thoughts sharpened. The quiet of the outpost was gone. Now, something far larger than him, larger than this station, had just stepped into his life. For the first time in months, Elias felt that silence would never return. Elias stood frozen, staring at the alien before him. The words she spoke weighed heavily in the quiet of the control room. If I do not, your world will burn. He could feel the truth of it, though he did not yet understand how. Start from the beginning, he demanded, finally finding his voice. Who are you? Where did you come from? And what do you mean by the Dominion? The alien woman's glowing eyes softened, and she took a careful step forward. My name is Kaylin, she said. I come from a world far beyond your charts in a system your people have never seen. My people are enslaved by a power that stretches across the galaxy. They call themselves the Dominion. Elias frowned, trying to process the meaning. Enslaved? Why? And what does it have to do with me? Kaylin let out a quiet sigh. Because your people, humans, are different. You fight differently. You think differently. You survive differently. You are the one species they cannot predict, the one species they cannot control. That is why I came to find you, Elias Ward. I need your help. Elias shook his head. This is impossible. Humanity barely reached this sector. The Dominion, if they exist, should not even know we exist. Kaylin's eyes glimmered brighter, like light reflecting off metal. They know. They have known for some time. They are careful, patient, but their spies have learned of you, of your home, of this station, and soon they will act. The words sank in slowly. Elias could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He had always thought of humans as small, fragile, and hidden. But if Kaylin spoke the truth, they were a target, a species underestimated, yes, but one that could become something far greater. Why me? He asked, a hint of fear in his voice. Why not someone else? Kaylin's gaze held him unwavering. Because I studied you, Elias. You are brave, thoughtful, and compassionate. In a galaxy filled with rules, fear, and conquest, you have something they do not understand, humanity's unpredictability. And I needed someone who would listen, someone who would act. Elias swallowed hard. Compassion. Unpredictability. Those were traits he had always believed in, yet he never imagined they could matter in a fight against a galaxy-spanning empire. Kaylin stepped closer, her movements careful and deliberate. I took a great risk to reach you. My journey was long, and I was pursued the entire way. The Dominion wants to capture me, to use me as a tool to control others. If they catch me here, they will learn about humans. They will come for you. For your people, for Earth itself. Elias's mind raced. Protocol screamed at him to contain, her to quarantine and interrogate. But another voice, deeper, quieter, urged him to listen, to trust. "Why are you telling me all of this?" he asked cautiously. "Why not Earth Command?" Kaylin shook her head. "Earth Command would never believe me. They would see me as a threat, as a spy, as an invader. I cannot risk that. I need someone who can act now, without hesitation, who understands what is at stake." Elias looked down, at the floor for a moment, thinking. This was no ordinary request. If Kaylin spoke the truth, then the lives of billions depended on his choice. One wrong step, and humanity could vanish before it even had a chance to grow. He met her gaze again. "What exactly do you want me to do?" Kaylin's glowing lines flickered like stars. "I need you to protect me. Help me reach safe humans. I have knowledge of the Dominion's plans, knowledge that could save your species. But I cannot reach Earth or your leaders alone. I need your help to carry it to them." Elias considered her words. Every instinct told him this was dangerous. Every protocol he had followed in his career told him to report the alien immediately. But a part of him, a deeper part, recognized the truth. Humans had always been underestimated. Perhaps now they could finally matter. "And if I agree?" he asked cautiously. Kaylin's lips curved slightly, not quite a smile. "Then we begin preparing. We must move quickly. The Dominion will not wait, and they are already searching for me." Before Elias could respond, the station's alarm system buzzed faintly, signaling an incoming transmission. Elias moved quickly through the outpost corridors, Kaylin following close behind. Every step echoed with a quiet tension, the kind that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, indifferent to the danger growing closer with each passing hour. Kaylin's glow pulsed softly as she adjusted to the human environment. The walls of the station felt narrow to her, the gravity slightly heavier than her homeworld. But she moved with purpose. Every motion had meaning, careful, precise, controlled. "We need to reach the hidden human outpost near the Rilo system," Elias said, his voice low. "It's the only place we can contact Earth safely. From there, we can plan a proper response." Kaylin nodded. "Lead the way. I know the Dominion will follow my trail, but they will not expect humans to fight in the ways you do." Elias frowned slightly at her words. "You've watched us?" "From afar," Kaylin admitted. "Your species is remarkable. You survive where others fail. You think in ways no other species does. That is why I sought you specifically. You are human, yes, but also more. You have courage, creativity, and determination in equal measure." Elias glanced at her, uncertain. Humans had always prided themselves on ingenuity, but to hear it spoken by an alien, one who had seen countless civilizations, was both humbling and unnerving. The two of them reached the docking bay. Elias activated the ship's systems, checking the engines and weapons. The small craft was old but reliable, designed for stealth and speed rather than combat. Kaylin stepped inside, her presence almost filling the cabin. As they prepared for takeoff, Elias spoke carefully. "You need to understand something. Humans are cautious. They will not accept you immediately. Some may panic. Others may attack. If they think you are a threat, you must blend in until we can explain." Kaylin's eyes flickered with understanding. "I can do that. But I will not hide from those who need my help. I will show them the truth when the time comes." Elias exhaled slowly. Her honesty was both comforting and terrifying. They were about to enter a world that might not be ready for her, yet there was no choice. The Dominion was coming, and humans had no time to waste. The ship lifted off with a soft hum, sliding silently into space. Outside the viewport, stars streaked past as they accelerated toward the Rilo system. Elias kept a careful watch on the sensors. Every faint blip could be a pursuing vessel, Every signal could be an ambush. Why are you helping us? Elias asked quietly. Why risk your life for a species that you barely know? Kalen's glow pulsed in thought. Because humans are different. I have seen empires conquer countless worlds, but never a species like yours. You do not rely solely on strength or technology. You rely on ingenuity, adaptability, and the will to survive. If the Dominion cannot control humanity, then perhaps there is hope. And hope is something my people have lost. Elias nodded slowly. He understood then that Kalen's mission was more than simple survival. She had seen civilizations fall, and in humanity, she saw the possibility of something new. A force the Dominion could not predict or contain. Hours passed in tense silence. The ship glided through the darkness, avoiding known Dominion patrol routes. Occasionally, Kalen would point out anomalies on the sensors, hidden surveillance, strange energy signatures that humans had never encountered. Elias followed her guidance carefully, realizing that her knowledge of enemy tactics was invaluable. Finally, the Rylos system appeared on the viewport. A cluster of small stations and hidden outposts hung around the system's outer planets, concealed by asteroid fields and natural energy distortions. Elias maneuvered the ship toward a small docking station, its surface barely visible against the darkness. As they landed, the station's automated systems scanned the ship and opened the docking bay. Elias exhaled in relief. They had arrived safely, at least for the moment. Inside, humans began to emerge from the shadows. They were armed and wary, their eyes narrowing as they took in the alien presence. Kalen stepped forward, raising her, hands slightly to show she meant no harm. One of the humans, a tall man with graying hair and a firm expression, stepped closer. Identify yourself, he demanded. I am Kalen, she said calmly. I come as an ally. I have knowledge that can save your people from the Dominion. The humans exchanged uncertain glances. Elias stepped forward. She is telling the truth. I have known her for only a short time, but she has proven her loyalty. She came to me because the Dominion is aware of humanity, and she wants to help us survive. The group hesitated. Trust did not come easily, especially in a galaxy filled with threats. But Kalen's calm presence and Elias's insistence began to break through their doubt. One of the younger soldiers stepped forward, still tense. How do we know this isn't a trick? An enemy spy? Kalen's eyes met his. Because I have no reason to deceive you. I could have hidden myself anywhere in the galaxy, yet I sought you out. I risked my life to reach you. And if I were lying, you would not see me here alive. The weight of her words, combined with Elias's conviction, began to sway the group. Slowly, they lowered their weapons. Elias turned to Kalen. We have some time before the Dominion finds us. Tell them everything you know. Kalen nodded and began to speak, her voice steady as she outlined the Dominion's plans. She explained how they enslaved entire species, stripping worlds of culture, technology, and hope. She described the command hub that controlled their operations, a central point where their strategies were devised and executed. The humans listened, their faces growing more serious with each revelation. The danger was real, immediate, and far greater than they had imagined. By the time Kalen finished, the group understood the truth. Humanity could not remain hidden forever. They had to act, or their world and countless others would fall to the Dominion. Elias looked around at the faces of the humans, and then at Kalen. We will fight, he said quietly. But we must do it carefully, and we must do it together. The galaxy has underestimated us for too long. It is time they learn what humans are capable of. Kalen's glow brightened slightly, a sign of relief and approval. Then we begin, she said, together. And as the stars outside the hidden station blinked silently, Elias and Kalen began forging an alliance that would change the fate of humanity and the galaxy forever. The hidden station on the Yao edge of the Rylos system hummed with quiet activity, but tension filled the air like electricity. Elias walked quickly through the narrow corridors, Kalen beside him, briefing the humans who had gathered to hear her knowledge of the Dominion. Suddenly, The station's alarms blared, red lights flashing along the walls. A sharp, insistent voice announced, "Incoming hostile vessels detected. All personnel brace for impact." Elias felt his pulse quicken. "They found us," he said, his voice grim. "Get to the ships, now." Kaylin's glowing lines pulsed faster as she moved, her body tense. "I sense them approaching," she said. "They are close. We must leave immediately." Humans scrambled to their ships, some checking weapons, others plotting escape routes through the asteroid field surrounding the system. Elias guided Kaylin to the fastest ship available, a small craft designed for agility, capable of dodging the Dominion's larger warships. As they launched, the sensors lit up with the signatures of the Dominion vessels, sleek and lethal, cutting through space like predatory sharks. The humans in the station's defense fleet began firing, trying to slow the attackers, but the Dominion ships were precise, nearly unstoppable. Kaylin leaned over the navigation console, her hands moving with expert precision. "If we follow the asteroid belt, we can lose them in the shadows," she said. "Their sensors are advanced, but they are not perfect." Elias nodded. "Do it. Now." The ship twisted and turned among the massive rocks, engines flaring as they dodged debris. Behind them, the Dominion warship struggled to maintain formation, their firepower limited by the need to navigate the same dangerous terrain. As the chase continued, Elias noticed the skill in Kaylin's movements. She anticipated the Dominion's every maneuver, guiding the ship through gaps and angles he would not have thought to use. Her knowledge of alien strategy was unmatched, and even he could see the advantage it gave them. Suddenly, a Dominion vessel broke formation, moving to cut off their escape. Elias gritted his teeth, adjusting the ship's course. "We can't let them corner us." Kaylin's eyes glimmered with determination. "We won't. Humans survive where others fail. Trust me." The Dominion ship fired, energy bolts streaking toward them. Elias pulled hard on the controls, diving the ship behind a massive asteroid just as the blasts hit. The impact rocked the asteroid belt, sending chunks of rock tumbling through space, forcing the Dominion vessel to veer off course. "We're not out of danger yet," Kaylin warned. "They will come again. They always come again." Elias swallowed, hard, realizing the truth in her words. The Dominion did not give up. They were patient, relentless, and ruthless. But humans were not so easily defeated. The chase continued for hours, winding through the maze of asteroids and debris. Elias began to notice patterns in the Dominion ship's movements, small mistakes and predictable reactions. Kaylin guided him to exploit these errors, using the terrain and speed of their ship to gain a slim advantage. Finally, they emerged from the asteroid field into open space, the Dominion vessels still in pursuit, but now spread out and disorganized. Elias exhaled, feeling a measure off, though the hidden outpost in the Rilo system was alive with activity. Humans, once cautious and wary, now moved with purpose. The Dominion threat had become real, tangible, and urgent. Elias paced the command center, Kaylin beside him, reviewing maps, communication logs, and intercepted Dominion signals. "This is bigger than we imagined," Elias said, his voice low but firm. "If the Dominion reaches Earth, billions could die. We need a plan. Fast." Kaylin nodded. "I have studied their networks. Their power comes from one central hub, a command vessel that controls everything. If we strike it, even a small force of humans could cripple their operations across multiple systems." Elias's eyes widened. "You mean we could fight them off?" Kaylin's glow pulsed with intensity. "Yes, but it will require courage, strategy, and the unpredictability that humans have in abundance. That is why I came to you." He took a deep breath. Humanity had always been underestimated. They had survived catastrophes, adapted to harsh worlds, and thrived where others failed. But this was a war against a species that enslaved entire civilizations. Still, Kaylin's confidence was contagious, and he began to feel hope. Elias called a meeting of the human leaders who had gathered at the outpost. Their faces were tense, showing exhaustion and skepticism. Kaylin stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "I know you fear what I'm about to say," Kaylin began, her voice steady and clear. "But I come with knowledge that can save you. The Dominion will attack Earth unless we act first. I have studied their command systems, their fleet strategies, their weaknesses. Together, we can strike a decisive blow. But it will require courage, unity, and action without hesitation." Some leaders exchanged doubtful glances. One older man, General Tarek, stepped forward. "And why should we trust you? How do we know you are not leading us into a trap?" Kaylin's eyes glowed gently. "Because I risked my life to find you. I could have hidden anywhere, yet I chose to come to you, and because I have no other choice. If humans do not rise, the Dominion will enslave countless worlds, including yours." The room fell silent. Elias spoke, his voice firm. "She speaks the truth. I have known her for only a short time, but she has proven her loyalty. If we do not act, Earth is at risk. If we hesitate, billions could die, and I will not allow that to happen." A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Slowly, the skepticism began to shift. Humans had faced impossible odds before and survived. Perhaps now, guided by Kaylin, they could do it again. Plans were drawn. The humans' fleet, though smaller and less advanced than the Dominion's, would be retrofitted for agility and stealth. Kaylin shared alien technology, improving weapon systems, navigation, and shields. Humans worked tirelessly, combining ingenuity with her guidance, creating a fleet capable of challenging the Dominion in ways no one had thought possible. Elias stood among the engineers and pilots, watching as humans adapted and innovated. He could see their determination in their eyes, the spark of courage that had carried them through centuries of struggle. Kaylin's presence inspired them, but it was their own spirit that made them ready. As preparations continued, Kaylin spoke to the assembled human pilots. "You are about to do something no one has ever dared. The Dominion believes all species can be controlled, predicted, and defeated. They are wrong. You fight not just for survival, but for freedom, for hope, for the right to live without fear. Remember this, and you will succeed." Elias felt a surge of pride. Humanity, once underestimated and hidden in the galaxy, was rising. And they were doing it with courage, creativity, and determination. The traits Kaylin had come to admire. Hours later, the fleet assembled at the edge of the Rilo system. Ships of all sizes, human-made and modified with alien technology, floated, silently in formation. Elias and Kaylin stood together on the command bridge of the flagship, surveying the fleet and the darkness beyond. "Are they ready?" Elias asked, his eyes scanning the horizon. Kaylin's glow pulsed with certainty. "They are ready. Humans do not wait for permission to act. They do not rely on anyone but themselves. That is their strength." A distant signal flashed across the sensor screens. Dominion ships had been detected moving toward Earth, unaware that a human fleet now awaited them. Elias clenched his fists. The time for hiding was over, the time to act had come. "Prepare for jump," Elias ordered. "We strike now." The fleet leapt into faster-than-light travel, emerging near the Dominion command hub. Massive and menacing, the enemy vessels spread across the sector, confident in their control. But they had not counted on humans. They had not counted on courage. They had not counted on Kaylin. Elias gave the signal. Ships surged forward, striking in unexpected patterns, firing with precision and unpredictability. Kaylin coordinated from the flagship, guiding each maneuver, turning weaknesses into opportunities. The Dominion ships were stunned by the humans' speed, strategy, and adaptability. Explosions lit the darkness as human ingenuity clashed with alien might. Despite being outnumbered, humans pressed on, using clever tactics to disrupt formations and disable key systems. Kaylin's knowledge of Dominion strategy allowed them to anticipate counterattacks, giving the fleet an edge that no one expected. Amid the chaos, Elias piloted his ship directly toward the command hub, weaving between enemy fire. Kaylin's voice guided him, calm and confident, each instruction saving countless lives. For the first time, Elias felt the power of humanity combined with knowledge beyond their world. They were no longer victims of the galaxy's threats. They were a force to be reckoned with, a species that fought with courage, creativity, and heart. As the battle raged, Elias looked at Kaelin, her glowing eyes steady amidst the destruction. "We can do this," he said. "Yes," she replied. "Because humans never give up." And in that moment, among stars and fire, humanity stood for the first time as a true beacon of defiance, ready to change the course of the galaxy forever. The Dominion command hub loomed ahead, massive and foreboding. Its surface shimmered with energy shields and countless weapons, an empire's fortress in space. Elias gripped the controls of his ship, staring at the colossal structure. Around him, the human fleet moved like a river of determination, every ship ready to fight, every crew member aware that the battle could decide the fate of their species. Kaelin's glow pulsed brightly as she stood beside him on the command bridge. "This is it," she said softly. "All our plans lead to this moment. The hub controls the Dominion's operations. If we succeed here, we can cripple their power across multiple systems." Elias nodded, swallowing hard. Fear and adrenaline mixed within him. Humanity had never faced anything like this, and yet here they were, united and ready. "We fight not just for survival," he said, his voice steady, "but for freedom, for hope, for everyone who cannot fight for themselves." Kaelin placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "And we will, together." The human fleet surged forward. Ships darted between debris and incoming fire, firing at weak points in the hub's shields. The Dominion vessels responded, energy beams and missiles streaking through space. Explosions lit the darkness, turning the void into a theater of fire and light. Elias piloted his ship with precision, dodging blasts, returning fire, and following Kaelin's guidance. Her knowledge of Dominion systems allowed them to anticipate attacks and exploit openings. Every maneuver was a blend of human instinct and alien strategy, a combination the Dominion had not anticipated. Behind them, smaller human crafts executed daring attacks, sabotaging shield generators and disrupting enemy communications. The Dominion, confident in their might, faltered under the unexpected tactics. Elias felt a surge of pride. Humans were proving the very thing Kaelin had promised. Unpredictability could be a weapon. Suddenly, an energy blast struck near their flagship, sending a shock wave through the hull. Kaelin stumbled, clutching the railing. Elias's heart leapt. She was wounded. He quickly adjusted course, avoiding another blast and guiding the ship to safety. "Kaelin," he shouted. "Are you okay?" She steadied herself, her glow dimmer, but still bright. "I will recover," she said. "Focus on the hub, we can do this." Elias nodded, determination hardening in his chest. They could not afford to lose focus now. He adjusted the ship's targeting systems and locked onto a critical section of the hub. "We strike here," he said, following Kaelin's instructions. Massive explosion tore through the hub's surface as coordinated attacks from the fleet hit simultaneously. Shields flickered and failed in segments, and alarms blared across the Dominion systems. Elias's hands moved with speed and precision, guiding his ship through debris and enemy fire. Kaelin's voice echoed in the bridge. "Now, Elias, direct, hit on the central command core." Elias pushed the engines to their limits, weaving past collapsing structures and beams of energy. With a final surge, his ship released the payload directly into the core. The hub shook violently, energy rippling outward. Systems failed, weapons went offline, and the Dominion fleet faltered in confusion. Cheers erupted across the human fleet as ships observed the hub's destruction. The command vessel, the center of a galaxy-spanning empire, was disabled. The Dominion forces retreated, disorganized and stunned. For the first time, humans had struck a decisive blow and survived. Elias exhaled, sweat dripping from his brow. Kaelin placed her hand on his shoulder, her glow gentle and steady now. "You did it," she said softly. "I did."